All right, we got Alfredino versus Tretch, Kislev versus Dark Elves. Kislev brought double Lil Grom, and then a bunch of dervishes. So many dervishes. I'm recently back on the Kislev hate train. They're not that strong of a faction. They're not like OP, but they counter a lot of what I like. They're damn unbreakable light cavalry, suicide diving my Skaven weapons teams, or my Empire cannons and mortars, or my Vampire Coast cannons and mortars, and any of my nice artillery or weapons teams factions get countered by these unbreakable 450 dogs. Ugh. I say dogs just because they act more like dogs than light cav in a lot of instances. All right, for the game, though, we are into it nice and early. 4 horse archers, 4 costified dervishes. The dervishes are currently trying to cycle charge the enemy front line, with the Oath Brothers of Tor, Warbear Rider, Arwar also climbing in. 2 Little Groms, 4 Kizavite warriors, and then an Ice Witch of Ice, and 1 archer. She has Crystal Sanctuary and Frostmane's Kiss. Near side for the Dark Elves, a very battered front line this early into the game, but we have Shades, Dark Riders, Bleak Swords, Cold One Knights, more Shades, and a Supreme Sorceress of Beasts, which is Flock of Doom. Okay. Costified Dervishes pop by our blood as they try and run down the Shades and the Dark Riders, but they do get intercepted by Cold One Knights. Just turn and face their fate rather than get hit by a side charge. And also trying to buy the Oath Brothers of Tor a little bit of time to get back toward their main formation, but the Shades are pin cushioning them a little bit. The Bears seem confused. Alfred has to give them new orders to keep them running because they almost got distracted by the Cold One Knights on their back. Flock of Doom also harassing them, so just trying to get damage out onto this expensive unit from Alfredino, which is now missing a third of its HP, so pretty good start there for the Dark Elves. Now Little Groms trying to punish this clump up of Cold One Knights, fighting the unbreakable Costified Dervishes, who also get Crystal Sanctuary. They are netted in place, but 80% damage resistance, all holding this so that Alfredino can fire at the Cold One Knights. I was hoping to catch a little Grom shot, but none came through while I was looking. Who? Where's that cannonball going? Oh, it's going at these Cold One Knights that are repositioning. Costified Dervishes did finally rout by our Blood War off. And the Shades are continuing to fire away. Now, the Dark Elves have a significantly better front line than 4 Kislev warriors, so they are trying to push forward, which is why Alfredino has been so aggressively trying to cycle charge them back with light cavalry. And now the flanks are starting to get a little scary as Cold One Knights push Costified Dervishes to the brink. But again, Fire Blood coming up. Just buying a little bit of time for Skirmish Cav to come over and fire, or the Oath Brothers of Tor to arrive, so they push back the Dark Elves once again. There goes Murderous Prowess. Everybody getting all their vigor back, feeling nice and chipper. Higher leadership and damage as well. More dervishes, more by our blood, more unbreakable. Soon they'll either shatter or die. Both Little Groms still continuing to fire. Gonna track 1 shot. It is still pummeling Cold One Knights, just trying to get rid of those, simplify the battlefield before your horse archers have to deal with them in the late game. Sorceress of Beast is actually taking a good amount of damage as some horse archers try and run past her. I think they are trying to dive the Shades. These guys have hybrid light cavalry stats, but Shades have hybrid melee infantry stats, so they'll take some damage, but they'll also hold their own. They won't get run over as easily as, like, I don't know, peasant archers of Britannia or something. Another Crystal Sanctuary is out onto the horse archers, making them unbreakable and nearly unkillable for a rear charge in from the other horse archers onto these Cold One Knights. Not going to get that much damage out. In fact, they get murdered in the process. So it was a cool wraparound attempt, but it didn't actually end up doing that much damage. The Oath Brothers of Tor are here to get a little more damage out. There goes down their Lightning Storm, which could do some decent-ish damage to the Shades. Decent-ish. Dark Riders finally found their way onto Little Grom. Looks like Alfred is finally running out of light cavalry to keep peeling for the Little Groms. And also his infantry are running out of space too. We only have the Kossar Archer left as infantry for Kislev. Everybody else is routing or dead. Bleak Swords held back by the Kossars, but there are other ones creeping around, getting onto the Little Groms, who actually still have a lot of ammunition left. And Shades are turning and firing over. Looks like the Oath Brothers of Tor are singing their last. Fire Blood is procced. We see more models collapsing before our eyes, and that unit is just dead. One model left, 200 HP. It will not last. It is going to go down. Kislev is way up on the balance of power, which I find a little surprising, but I guess it's the little Groms. They just have a lot of HP and ammunition left. The balance of power doesn't care that they're now stuck in melee for a lot of things. Alfredino throws on guard mode, is going to fire sideways down the Shades, who are over prioritizing shooting at things that are already routing instead of moving up on the little Groms. They do need to get moving because they could stalk. If they weren't shooting right now, they'd be stalked and actually couldn't be getting shot at. So that is a big mistake for the Shades to be still firing at stuff that isn't the little Groms. You have some Cold One Knights diving back in onto little Groms as well. Once again, guard mode is still on though and firing at the Shades. Ice Witch could dive onto those Shades soon with some Horse Archers that have rallied. And the Dark Elf caster doesn't seem to know what she wants to do. She probably should be dueling the Ice Witch or something. Just providing a bit of space for the Shades, but the Shades get routed off. In comes a Flock of Doom to get rid of the last of the Kisvite warriors that rejoin the fight, but the Cold One Knights are probably toast. They are thinking about leaving. Little Grom starting to take damage. Balance power is getting a little better for the Dark Elves. Shades have revealed themselves as they move up. The Ice Witch and the Horse Archers proving very problematic for these Dark Elf units that want to rally, though, as the Shades continue to move up. They just want to get in range and do some consistent damage on the little Groms that can't move or dodge. So in comes a volley, even against that wounded Shade. Ice Maiden's Kiss, a lot of damage onto them. Little Grom gets his Fire Blood procced. In comes some arrows, but will the Shades even hold? They did until Little Grom, a different Little Grom shot them. Then they did not hold anymore. Guard mode on. These guys still firing, courageous as they are. 2 Cold One Knights. Okay, there's 5 total in the unit, but I just saw 2 sprinting over at the other Little Grom. That looked funny. They're gonna get over there, hopefully get winning in melee combat to give them the leadership they need to stay in this. Losing currently. Okay. I haven't seen them lose any HP, but sure, they're losing currently in melee, whatever. As Bleak Swords help chase off this little Grom that is routing. Kossovite Dervishes are back in briefly. Kossar Archers are in the background. The only spell we have is Flock of Doom, and it's very bad against single entities, so I would hope that she would just throw a Flock of Doom at these guys. There it is. But she herself should be chasing the little Grom, and the Bleak Sword should run after these guys. Or something, because the Bleak Swords can't catch little Grom. Other little Grom, balance power is 50-50. Other little Grom, still surrounded. The Cold One Knights have not given up yet. They are down to 4 models, and there they give up. Now down to 2 out of nowhere. So as soon as, that was Schrodinger's Cold One Knight. As soon as I perceived them, they took a bunch of damage. Dark Riders return to the battle. Takes some damage from the Ice Witch, as Shades are currently trying to shoot at her, at least get a little damage out as she is harassing them. Little Grom gets a shot down the side of the Dark Riders, takes huge damage off of them, and does get them to rout, as he gets a Fire Blood proc on himself, and still this Supreme Sorceress of Beasts is stuck chasing the other little Grom off the battlefield. Bleak Swords, shields up, gonna run down these Kossars. And the hybrid boys of Kislev probably don't stand much of a chance against those Bleak Swords. In a different replay where Arkan got consistent hits on the back of Tehenuin, we are seeing that here, though at a much slower pace. The Sorceress of Beasts is slowly swinging away at Little Grom, but okay, I thought she got orders to leave him. I'm like, nope, you have to chase him down. His leadership is currently positive while you are flanking and hitting him, so yes, you do need to chase him all the way. Other Little Grom is slowly getting away from the Bleak Swords back towards the Ice Witch. Very unfortunate that the Sorceress of Beasts has to chase that other Grom all the way off the battlefield, but it is what it is. His HP is 400 still. This one has 1300. As it continues to try and slip away, the Bleak Swords are getting occasional hits on it. Kossovite Dervishes try to charge in, maybe break the Bleak Swords, maybe just give Grom some space, but they shatter in the effort, and Little Grom is forced to still run away. Dark Elves control the point, actually. We are halfway over the point ticking down. Still, this chase is happening. Little Grom at 312. She even throws a Flock of Doom at it just to try and finish it off. But yeah, she's not getting as lucky as Arkan did in that other game about actually getting her attack animations off. We can see here, this is more of what I was expecting out of that interaction. She does leave it now, deciding that it's probably going to go off the battlefield. I'm going to watch her run away, but I also just want to keep my eye on this, because if he rallies, that would be so funny and so tragic. Bounce power is in the favor of the Dark Elves. They have the capture point. Their Lord is pretty healthy. Yep, he rallied, and she has to turn around and go do it all over again. I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. All right, Little Grom, there, routes off the battlefield. Now she can truly go back, but he was trolling her. Meanwhile, the Ice Witch and the other Little Grom have been kiting out the Bleak Swords, doing lots of damage to them, routing off 3 of them. So now what we have left is a Little Grom with 5 shots, which is a lot of shots this late in the game. A very damaged Ice Witch of Ice versus a Bleak Sword and the Supreme Sorceress of Beasts. It looks like the Sorceress of Beasts might stay hidden in the trees and wait out the last of Little Grom shots, then come out later. They could try and win this on the capture point. You do only have 2 single entities who are injured, but I don't know. Probably still enough capture weight to both take it if you're just not there, period. Another beautiful Little Grom shot on those Bleak Swords. The Groms have killed so many dudes. 180 kills. Yeah, she is coming out of the trees. She needs to do something. 3 shots left for this Little Grom. It is 2 versus 120, but those 120 are mostly routing. And Little Grom just mows down 8 more Bleak Swords with that shot. Jeez. Jeez. He lines up a shot. 2 shots left, and he is trying to hit the Sorceress, who is trying to Serpentine, and it does not work. It's too close of range. The Little Grom just hits her in the face. Bounce power is slightly Dark Elf favored. Does he get the last shot off before she gets into melee? He does not. And the Ice Witch of Ice does throw down an Ice Maiden's Kiss on the Bleak Swords, and she still has her Guardian's Call Ice Leopard summon. Oh no. That is going to be GG for sure, as the Snow Leopard is about to sprint down the Sorceress of Beasts. She even gets shot in the back of the head by Little Grom. The rear charge should cause army losses. And that is GG. The hyper late game BM summon was pretty hilarious. Alfredino's caster, not a lot of value despite all those Ice Maiden's kisses, but kisses don't win wars, I guess. Dervishes did their jobs, mostly getting decent value, but also just blocking a ton. Little Groms both did great. Both Brothers Tor did very well. For Tretch, Flock of Doomcaster did okay. Bleak Swords really showed up nicely. A lot of value for them. Shades did okay. Coldwood Knights, mixed overall. Dark Riders struggled a bit. GG's. Roar.
Subscribe, yes, yes.